Hello there, welcome to another episode of the Star Wars Minute. It's your daily podcast in which we scrutinize, analyze, and celebrate the rise of Skywalker 1 minute at a single time. I'm Alex Robinson from alexrobinson.fun.
I am Pete the Retailer from PeteTheRetailer.fun.
And I am no fun, but I am from ifanboy.com and the iFanboy Pick of the Week podcast.
Well, thanks for returning, Josh.
You're welcome.
We're talking about minute 113. Is that the one you prepared for?
Wait, hold on. Let me check.
Uh-oh.
I just, hold on.
Should have asked this off the air, I guess.
Hold on. Oh. Yeah.
All right, great. Well, then you know that it starts, minute 113 starts with Ben Solo levitating over Sir Ushar of the Knights of Ren. And it ends a minute later with Palpatine sheave-splaining that Reylo is a magic dyad unseen for generations.
Ushar.
I'm happy he's here to explain these things.
Ushar. Things are going to get easier.
So yeah, it starts off with Ben Solo kind of wire, jumping over the Knights of Ren. It seems like very awkward. I feel like he's more levitating himself than jumping. Yeah.
I think that's a little unnecessary move there. Because it does look very, wire work.
It goes with the shrug, and he's like, fine. And then he's like, check this move out. And it's really kind of a rocket boots kind of move, I think, without it.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to be honest, I'd do that. If I could do that, I would totally do that.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there would have to come a certain amount of confidence where you're like, you know what, I can throw in a little bit of some extra little.
That's true.
Well, I mean, deep down, he still really wants to impress the Emperor. I mean, these are these waters run deep. Like he's spent years trying to get that daddy's approval.
A little bit in, he's like, well, just in case things go south here, I still wanted to, I'm going to leave that door open.
I'll see. And also, you can see what 90%
good light side here, but let me just in case.
That probably did hurt him a little bit. That fact that Rey is the one he wants to be his host body instead of Kylo Ren.
Yeah, but that's just a weird old man thing.
Right. Rotting meat. The man smells like rotting meat.
She smells like flowers.
Well, I wonder if it was like, well, why don't you want my body? It's like, well, it's no longer mint condition. She stabbed it before, and now it's,
But she healed me, look.
She'll see what my body look like?
Check out how high my pants are.
Very impressive, yes.
Yeah, so Ben makes quick work of, now that he has a lightsaber, makes quick work of the remaining Knights of Ren. Mm-hmm. R.I.P. Knights of Ren.
Mm-hmm. They weren't so much of a challenge. I wonder if he was playing with them 2 minutes ago. Because it was like, I have this blaster, I can't take them out. And then he gets his dimensionally shifted lightsaber. And then once he had that, forget it. It's a mental thing, I guess. Like, without the lightsaber, it doesn't have the same swagger.
It's like a security blanket. He's like, now I have this, now I can do it.
Yeah, I don't know how to do this without it.
Right.
Like Dumbo with the feather. Or around.
Exactly.
Yeah, so this minute is the one that I made the note that there's a scene where they just stare at each other and don't say anything rather than, like, all right, you go on the left, I'll go on the right, or any kind of...
right. Well, they don't need
bringing me back to life.
They're dyad. They're communicating through the Force this whole time.
Right.
I just figured that's what most of this movie was. Given, at the end of... I'm serious. I watched through the movie... I paid mostly attention. But as I got to this, I was like, there they go looking at each other again. So it must have stuck with me that, that was their thing. They just kept going back and forth between them, trying to just hammer it into the viewer's skull that they have a connection. And then, of course, Palpatine explains it to us, which is helpful. And so there can be no doubt. What I have the note that Sheev loves a goofy turn of phrase, but now I don't remember what he said. Because I don't have the volume on.
Was it stand together, die together?
That's the one. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's it.
I made a note of that one too.
That could either. I have two ways to go there. It could be like on a flag, Or it made me think of Walk Together, Rock Together, the 7 Seconds album. So, which depending which way you want to go there, choose your own adventure there. Do you want like a colonial flag or a 80s punk album?
It really, why not both? It didn't seem like, I was like, that's not so bad. He's stand together, die together. I don't know. I don't think you won that phrase off. They're like, yeah, that's exactly correct. We are working together, and it's quite effective.
What if it was stand together, pie together, and he hit them in the face with pies? He had 2 pies that came out of.
She should reach in behind her force packet and pick out a pie.
Get a pie.
And throw it.
How great would it be if she, like in the middle of all this dramatic, darkly lit lightning, whatever, like they show an insert of his hand pulling up a little lever on his arm and just starts flinging pies on actual springs.
And then
imagine if they released that.
The culmination of the entire Star Wars saga just ends in a pie fight, and then you get Poe lands, everybody all the reinforcements show up, they land and they run in there, and everybody's getting pied.
It's like the end of Blazing Saddles. Like it's just totally deflate the whole thing.
I would have,
and then there'd be like a headline, and it ended in a pie fight. Yeah, it wasn't a metaphor. Like it literally. It's on my face now.
Pie Dameron.
There you go.
Well, it would be like Revenge of the Sith, where he would shoot him out of his sleeve. I remember how his lightsaber was kind of Taxi Driver style on a kind of like mechanism in his sleeve to pop it out.
Piety Mundi.
Very good, very good.
I feel like I don't have one, and I'm
I know. I was working with Yaddle Meringue, but I was like, that's not good. I did it. Look, just the shot of 3 men going, "Where can I put pie into something Star Warsy?" Oh, I mean, Pie Gone Gin.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, right, and then even has gin in it too.
That's a delicious pie.
We just pull up lists of character names.
Anyway,
music, Maestro. Start, spread it. No, the music here, once again, it's a return of where we had a kind of a more heroic version of Kylo Ren's theme when he showed up and he was being Ben Solo, and now we get like a romantic version of it. We get love theme from Kylo Ren, where it's like got this little sparkly kind of like ba 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 ba, and it's not quite strippery, but it's like ba 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 ba, like with a little inflection to it that I'm not sure exactly what the difference is, but I noticed that it not only is it kind of a romantic version with swells, but it also then blends into, just before this we get part of Rey's theme. Rey's, there's 3 parts to Rey's theme basically, I think. I think I remember one time we were talking to Chrysanthi about it and they were breaking down the parts for us, but I don't remember any of that. It at the time I'm like, oh cool, and then it just leaves my head again. But there is part of Rey's theme that's kind of coming through here in a dramatic way, whereas at first it was that kind of light kind of jaunty thing, and now it's that's more serious, whereas Kylo Ren's theme is more kind of heroic and romantic, and then we get a little kind of interplay between the 2 themes for a second as they come together into the same room. It's nice.
Do you find
well analyzed? Do
you find that when you watch these, you actively notice the music, or do you have to? Do you actually just notice it as part of it, or do you have to sort of go back and think about what the music is like when you're trying to prepare for it? Because I don't, you're saying, I don't hear it. I hear it, but I don't register it.
Well,
I very rarely notice the music.
Yeah, unless it really stands out.
I notice it, but I don't recognize it as, oh, that's this theme or whatever.
It was like banjo jug band music. You'd be like, what? Other than that, it's what it the music is what it's supposed to be. Sure. Dun 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 dun.
But yes, unless it stands Rey's theme, I remembered that, and there's a couple of other things that it's oh, okay, those will go. Those will get second there. I'll notice those, but then for the most part, no, it has to be kind of hammered into my brain repeatedly.
I mean, I find that like with the original trilogy, like I can hear the music, and I mean, even then, I'm still only vaguely. Wait, is it the Force theme, or is that Luke, or is like I know Vader's or whichever, and they're all very familiar to me. But and then I wonder, like, is that working the way that it's supposed to? Like, is that what it's supposed to be? It's only supposed to subtly make you think of it. You're not like comic book lettering. Like,
if you notice it,
right? If you notice it, it's wrong. It's just evoke a feeling. I don't know,
I wouldn't go so far as to say if you notice it, it's wrong.
Right.
Because, we all know the thrill of coming out of a movie and, I feel like Raiders of the Lost Ark is the one that was like the most instantly identifiable. I don't know, Star Wars too, I guess. But
Superman. That's just my
Superman, yeah, all those things. So
anything John Williams.
But I only noticed it when there's like
Potter.
like a swell. You know what I mean?
Right.
Does John Williams do all the Harry Potter movies too?
He did the theme. I think he did like the first one, and then they just.
Oh, they just like.
I'm totally talking on my. I don't know if that. Like, I know he did the theme for the first one, but
yeah,
okay.
Like, it's his thing.
So yes, this is where we learn all about the dyad.
Yeah. Well, this is funny enough. One of my notes is specifically for this is too Harry Pottery, because this is where it starts to get more just like he does the weird thing where it's just like starts to suck some energy out of them, and then it hurts his hand. Right? Or does that start here? He does something, and you see like wispy energy around them.
Yeah, I think he's like using telekinesis to pull them towards him, and he almost inadvertently pulls some of their life force out. He pulled a little too hard and actually pulled some of their life force out of their body.
I thought he did that on purpose, or is that the other?
He seems surprised when it happens.
I think he's trying to do it, and then the fact that they're a dyad kind of like he gets like it's wrong. Something's wrong with the way he has to change different. The way that he does it.
So that, like, first of all, the shot of his hands is the worst thing that's ever happened in my life. Did it? I kind of went back and forth, and I still don't know if I understand. Were his hands kind of okay, and then the stuff hit them, and they got gross, and then they grew back right away, or were they gross to begin with, and then grew back?
I think they were gross. I think they were gross all along. They should have maybe made that more clear, but yeah, I think they're gross prior to this.
Like, they're super gross. Like, there's one that's like a stub with a little bone sticking out of it, and I was like, that's too... Like, he's bad enough. And then he's got no pupils. That's a big problem.
Well, and also, this does... Well, I mean...
Please.
Well, with the whole force healing thing, like, there's been some debate about how far you can take that. Like, could he regrow his limbs? Could he regrow his... You know what I mean? With the right force doctor, could he basically have been a full, because here we see she regrowing a finger, which seems to imply that you can regrow limbs using the force.
Certain things are unnatural.
Well, maybe they put, it's like Jurassic Park. It's like, well, they had some gaps, so they used like lizard DNA when they're making these clones.
Maybe it's his super chair arm thing. Like it's like he's going down, and they squirt in like extra finger.
It's you can't see it, but on the other side it's just blowing. It's like and whoop, and his thumb comes back out.
There's a group of Ugnaughts.
It's like well, let me if I can. I'm gonna step back into a real. There's going to be a part that we're going to have a conversation about here, but for now, let me talk about the hand part in Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker Expanded Edition, novelization by New York Times best-selling author Ray Carson.
So now you're going to speak to the hand issue, right?
Yeah. The Emperor yanks them towards himself, and they slid across the floor, helpless against his power, as he took and took and took.
Typical.
The Emperor gasped, stared at his hands, which had begun knitting themselves back together. Bones regrowing, pale flesh closing over them. The life force of your bond, he said, his voice tingled with wonder. A dyad in the force. I should have done the life force of your bond. A dyad in the force.
Very sparkly and wondery.
Yeah. Well, and then that seems to confirm that his hands were gross, and then sucking their energy out. Like it's more than he was expecting, and I was like, "Whoa, look, this is so good! It's healing my hands." Though then it goes into, so here's the part that I thought we could have some conversation about. Here's something I thought we could talk about. Yeah. His gleeful, triumphant thoughts washed over Rey as she struggled against his grip, unable to move. He had won, at last. All those years, all that searching. He'd tried to create a dyad with Anakin, as his master had tried to create one with him. The rule of two, a master always in desperate search of yet more powerful apprentice, was a pale imitation, an unworthy but necessary successor to the older, purer doctrine of the dyad.
I think they're just making this stuff up.
What is your question?
Well, that's interesting because that raises a lot of more questions than it answers, I feel like, here. Yeah. It's like, wait, he tried to create this. So, like, he knew that this was, like, a thing and was trying to go for it with Anakin. Potentially, like, did he try that with others? And, like, did it say Plagueis had tried to do it with it? Like, they try to, like, get their master-apprentice relationship up to a point where they have a dyad so they can work as, like, equals?
See, I would think
take
that's
it to the next level.
I would think that the dyad isn't something you can. It is or it isn't. Like you've got that. Like so you're going through a lot of people trying to figure that out, and it sucks when you find out you've put a decade into an apprentice, and it's like there's no dyad possible here. So right back to this.
The current theology of the Force is that anyone can access the Force. So by that logic, it seems like anyone who can access the Force can turn themselves into a dyad. If they study hard enough and train hard enough and want it bad enough.
Do you both have to be hot?
Maybe that's it.
I feel like that's maybe it because, I mean, like, Anakin at one point, he was kind of hot, but then he got too hot. Exactly. So, like, which ironically... took that down, and then Sheev, try as he might. That's by the way, that's how you gain that much power, is to make up for the fact that you're not hot. Like, I wonder. Actually, I wonder if he like.
Does he think he is? I mean, not again, nothing. This isn't. We're not disparaging Ian McDiarmid. He's a very.
But is there a shot of him as like a young actor at 25? And like that guy's a stud.
Maybe.
I can't picture him ever being hot. Hot seems like well, it's a more exclusive thing than just handsome or anything like that.
I made a stupid quip, and we're really getting into it. I don't. I no. The basic tenet of the Sith is weird because the apprentice has to kill the master, but the master wants a more powerful apprentice. And I don't see why you would do. Why wouldn't you just get a dumbass apprentice?
Because I guess maybe because if you have a powerful apprentice, and you could set up the relationship in such a way where, because if you read, you must have read the comics, Josh. Like the relationship between Darth Vader and Palpatine is like the most dysfunctional. He is constantly abusing Anakin. Treating him like a total dog. So I guess maybe that's it. It's a kind of like you want a more powerful apprentice, and you also get the thrill of being the one to keep this more powerful being in check by just being such a jerk.
Like the key of the Sith.
Why anyone would sign up for this?
The key of the Sith is like to be in an abusive relationship. And
I guess the thing, you think you're going to be the one who's going to be the abuser. That's the thing.
That's some deep fetishistic stuff.
Hey man,
I mean, like, listen.
We're not here to kink shame. Whatever people are into, you know.
Seriously, at least it all seems to be consensual, and I think there's something to that. I think you have to be.
Anakin probably would have said that he was lured in under false pretenses because he thought he was going to get a trick to keep his dying wife alive, and that turned out to be like false advertising.
Right.
Then again, who's more foolish?
Who?
Well, is it me?
Who?
That was very like rootstock Homer. Who? Is it me? That's good.
I'm looking at there's the oldest photos I can find
young Ian McDermott.
Of young Ian McDermott. I think there's something called Amazing Stories, not the Steven Spielberg 80s anthology thing. But there's something called apparently Amazing Stories from 1976. And in that, he looks like Rob Halford, like classic Rob Halford, Judas Priest. Because he's dressed like that. Not Herb Alpert.
So hot then, yeah.
I mean, depending if I think they might have a similar. I could be wrong. I seem to recall they have similar tastes in partners, but so maybe if that's what you're going for. But I don't know if I would call him hot.
I'm gonna go out on the limb here, and I apologize, but he's not hot.
All right, hot or not?
So do you?
From a purely aesthetic standpoint of like looking at a dude, objectively, like you're not hot.
From a certain point of view, he is not hot.
Right. And I'm not hot. It's fine. Like that's.
Yeah. Oh.
We
might have established a love connection.
I really appreciate that I saw you both go like, well, hold on. And I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Meanwhile, I'm going to get an email tomorrow. Word got back to Ian McDermott, and he's not happy.
Oh, man. Do you not want to get him angry?
Do
you think Palpatine?
Somebody will complain. I made a joke about Alan Rickman being ugly one time. And he's a weird-looking dude. Right, yeah. But like I'm telling you, I woke up in the morning on Twitter and legions of Alan Rickman's female fans were legitimately angry with me and abusing me. So,
all right, we'll see. Please send all correspondence to Josh Flanagan at ifanboy.com.
If you are,
please don't give out my.
If you think that Ian McDermott is hot. It either young version, old version, whoever in between version.
Listen, if you think old Ian McDermott is hot, that's a very specific taste. We can at least say that.
Yeah, right. I think the hottest Palpatine is right after getting shocked by the lightning, where he's unlimited power Palpatine.
Both
that's
literally.
The hottest one. Yeah. Right. So do we think Palpatine tried to do this with Count Dooku and with Darth Maul, and they just never hit it off properly?
If you are constantly in bad relationships with apprentices, maybe it's you, not the apprentices.
You might be a redneck.
I'm just like, he never thought that maybe he's the problem. Right, so if I run into all day long, my Palpatine has like gone. It's not even. It's just a gruffish voice. I don't remember how to do it. I was okay for a while.
It'll return.
It hurts.
Yeah, somehow your Palpatine will return.
There'll be two of them.
Always. Well, it's sad to think that now it must be frustrating.
Palpatine.
Oh, there you go.
Or Palpatine.
Oh, yeah, Palpatine.
Sweet.
But he doesn't seem at all bitter that he tried to get into one of these relationships all his life, and now here these two just kind of fell into it. He must be like, oh, you know what? Just goes to show you.
He was a little impressed.
He seems more like happy for them rather than envious.
Well, and he's about to like possess them, so he's getting that power.
Oh.
He's like, oh, great, like a dyad. That's like a twofer.
I thought I was just getting to be hot, and I can't go wrong either way.
Yeah.
Even if he's sort of hot in a non-traditional way, it is still undeniable.
You can be physically attractive and not hot.
100%.
That's the thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Hot is largely a state of mind,
Yes, exactly. All right, well, that's all I have for 113. You guys got anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, we can only go downhill from here.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Let's rank the 3 hottest and least hot Star Wars characters. No, let's not do that.
No.
I'm just kidding.
That's a dark corner of the internet that definitely exists in depth.
I'll go first. The Wampa.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Tauntauns and
EV-99.
Probe droid.
Least hot.
Imperial probe droid. Those are the 3 least hot because they're all on.
Here's the Hoth or Noth.
Yeah. Chris Noth.
He's
out.
Oh yeah.
I think there could be a thing. Maybe we'll save this for a video. Well, that might make it weird too. I think because we'd learn more about each other if we did our top hottest Star Wars characters, excluding humans and near humans.
Okay.
We're not going to do that now. Not on this episode.
You have to explore, like, when did Twi'leks go from being hideous to being hot, because that happened.
Right.
They were horrendous, and then over the course of decades, now they're all sexy.
Well, I mean, start out, you have like Ula or Bib Fortuna or two different, you know.
Yeah.
They're there at the same time. I don't know if it's not just somebody not taking care of himself or is Ula exceptional, but now they're pretty much all hot. Well, yeah, I think every once in a while you see like a doofy looking dude.
Well, I mean, that's to be, you know, but Bib Fortuna wasn't okay, but I thought he was like, but maybe, you know, maybe in Twi'lek's like he's super hot and Ula's like, oh, I get that. That's
she looks so
every
she's
alien
a butter
race,
tentacle.
Every alien race finds Earth women attractive.
Yes,
that's the rule of alien love.
Right. What do we have here?
Yeah.
You want a wanga?
Well, anyway, if you want to weigh in on the Hoth or Noth debate, why not go to the Star Wars Minute Listener Society on Facebook? True, Pete and I no longer hang out there. We're on the Discord now. Patreons know that, but there's still plenty of cool conversation going on there from what I'm told. So go to facebook.com/Star Wars Minute Listener Society. I don't know.
StarWarsMinute.com/Facebook. There you go.
There you go. That's even better. Thank you, Pete, for doing that. And thank you, listener, for joining us. And I hope you'll return tomorrow for yet another Star Wars
Minute.